Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, March 13th, 2025. Stand up for your country. Another day, another controversy, or 4 or 5. It really is madness in Washington. All right. But there's one story everybody's missing. And I am not missing it, which is why you're here. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It is now Donald Trump versus Vladimir Putin. Stare down, big time. Could get very intense. It's all about Ukraine, of course. As we reported, the Ukrainians, after being browbeaten by Donald Trump, have agreed to a ceasefire for 30 days. In that time, there would be a peace negotiation, but Russia has to cooperate. Now, Putin today said, yeah, maybe I will, but maybe I won't. Okay. Now, Putin is evil, and I know a tremendous amount about him from researching my upcoming book, Confronting Evil. And this is a bad man. I think, and I could be wrong, that he is insane. All right, let that sink in. I don't think he's rational. Bad Vlad Putin. I could be wrong. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am not wrong about this. It's a showdown between Donald Trump and Putin. So we can expect a lot of back and forth. All right. Russia's not going to do this. Putin's not going to do that. You'll hear it every hour on the hour. Don't get emotional about it. I will tell you what's real and what isn't real. There is a negotiation going on now behind the scenes between the Trump administration, Steve Witkoff, and Lavrov, the foreign minister and second most powerful man in Russia. Okay? And they're setting the table for a ceasefire that I think Putin is going to have to do because he knows that if he does it, President Trump will have to attack him. Now, what do I mean by that? This is very important for you to understand. Trump cannot back down from Putin. He cannot look weak. Can't do it. All right? So if Putin is unreasonable, after all the emotion that Trump's put into Ukraine, Trump's got to punish him. And how that will happen will be unbelievably strict economic sanctions, far more than they have now. Trump will close the banking system all over the world to Russian money. That's what will come. Now, if some banks defy Trump, they'll go out of business because American Express, for example, will do business. So there's a million different ways that Donald Trump, as president of the United States, can punish any bank that doesn't cooperate. So Russia's whole financial system will collapse. That's how Trump is going to go after Putin if Putin doesn't cooperate. Putin knows that. He knows. Okay? And the Russian economy is weak anyway. So I don't know in and out. I can't possibly know that, but I do have the best sources in the country about what's happening inside the Trump administration. Period. I do. Now, today, you may have noticed that the president met with Mark Rutte. He is the leader, the Secretary General of NATO. He came to Washington. That's not an accident. So NATO and America have to join together with no dissent. So bad Vlad has to know he's up against that colossus. Can't be anybody sniping. But here in America, there's plenty of sniping because the Democratic Party does not want this ceasefire because it would give Trump a huge victory in the eyes of the American people. So the subversive Democratic Party, not all Democrats, but the party hierarchy, and we'll get into Schumer in a moment. Schumer is the most powerful Democrat. They don't want this. No. That's why you've seen the corrupt media parrot this garbage that we went over yesterday. So let me back this up, okay? It's always good to back it up with facts. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is a outspoken individual, and he's close to Schumer. So White House does a lot of the public stuff because Schumer doesn't like to do that. White House went on MSNBC, which is the outlet that all Democrats use to get a message out. And here's what he said.
Could you imagine Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a great president, telling Winston Churchill, you're going to have to make a deal with Herr Hitler, and we're cutting off Lend-Lease until you do. And by the way, you may not be able to keep your whole island. That would not have been a great president. That would have been a cowardly and shameful president. And that is the position that Donald Trump has consistently been in with respect to Zelensky versus Putin.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Number one, Winston Churchill and Great Britain were not in any danger of losing the war at that time. They needed U.S. assistance, of course, but Hitler wasn't a lock to defeat England. In fact, in the Battle of Britain, Churchill and the British won. They beat the Luftwaffe, and they beat Hitler. And Hitler never invaded England, couldn't do it, didn't have the power to do it. Okay? So that's the big deal because Ukraine can't beat Putin. They're totally different playing fields. It's not the same. Now, White House doesn't know that. He's not smart enough to know it. But here's the kicker. So in late February of 1945, middle of February, there was a conference among FDR, American President, Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin at Yalta. Stalin, of course, the dictator of Soviet Union. This was to figure out what to do after the Germans surrendered, which they were going to do, and they held out till May, but it was a fait accompli. Germans lost. Okay? So what do? At that meeting, Franklin Roosevelt, who was ill, gave Stalin everything. Everything. Okay? And that led to the Cold War, because Stalin just rolled across, and the Soviet troops occupied Eastern Europe. They violated everything. They did whatever they wanted. Now, I write about this extensively in Killing Patton, because Patton knew that was going to happen, was screaming about it, that you can't give in to Stalin, and FDR did. And Churchill was appalled, but at that time, Churchill didn't have any power. It was America versus the Soviet Union because Britain was depleted after World War II. Churchill knew what Roosevelt was doing, was giving Stalin everything. So White House had no idea. Oh, FDR never would have done that. A great president. Look, I don't want to call a sitting U.S. senator names, but that guy doesn't know anything about it, about history, about anything. All he's in business to do is to undermine Trump trying to get a ceasefire in Ukraine, which is a good thing. Yes, Ukraine's going to lose about 10% of its territory, and I feel terrible about that. But there's no other alternative. That war will never end. Putin's not going to stop unless Trump forces him to, as Trump forced Zelensky to go to the table. Zelensky didn't want to stop the war. I don't know why. His population being brutalized. He's not going to win. Yeah, I understand you don't want to give away 10% of your territory, but sometimes in history you have to do that. You just have to. Okay, so when you hear all of this stuff coming out of the Democratic Party, you know that it's not true. There have been many, many times when wars have stopped and one side doesn't get what it wants. And it's wrong. It's wrong. But this is not a fair world. The best thing for Ukraine now is to stop the fighting, regroup, sign a mineral deal with the USA, which gets us on their turf, okay? And then hope that the Trump administration, NATO, bolster the forces against Putin. I have no confidence Putin will obey anything. He'll sign it, but he's evil and insane, in my opinion. And that's the memo. All right, if you have any questions about it, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Killing Patton's a fascinating book for you to read. All right, because White House would never read it. Why does he want? He doesn't want information. They don't want it. Okay, all they want to do is punish Trump. It's not good for the American people. All right, tariff list. It's another stupid story. I have to do it. So Trump says he's going to impose 200% tariffs on booze coming from the EU because the Europeans say we're going to impose 50% tariff on U.S. whiskey. Okay, every day it's this. I got it. Every day it changes. Hopefully in 3 months it'll settle down and fair trade deals will be in place. I think that will happen. All right. Now, the Canadians sent a big delegation to Washington to meet with Howard Lutnick, who's the Commerce Secretary, but he's a tariff guy. Howard Lutnick. He's a New Yorker, okay? He was involved with 9/11 because his whole firm got wiped out in the World Trade Center. Close friend of Trump. So the Canadians are down, and they'll work it out, I think. So this morning I was on WABC Radio, as I am every Thursday morning, with Sid Rosenberg, #1 rated news talk radio in the nation's largest city, New York. And Rosenberg, as everybody, because the stock market is crazy. It's correcting and people are getting hurt. So Rosenberg asked me about it. Go.
The word recession has become part of the vernacular again, which is not a great thing, but he has been honest. He said from day one, President Trump and Elon Musk, short-term pain, I should say, will lead to long-term pain. But people are scared. Are you?
No. In fact, yesterday, President Trump put my analysis of the tariffs on Truth Social.
Wow.
Yeah, it caught us by surprise. And I didn't endorse the tariffs. I just explained them. Because, again, most people have no idea. So Trump gets elected the second time. He goes, look, I'm going to try to build an economy, not just for 4 years, but for 40 years. And I'm going to get better trade arrangements so that happens. I think that's pretty noble of him, if it works.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it will work or not.
Right.
Enter the media. The media strategy now, and I know this to be true, and we're talking about all three networks and CNN. And I'm not even going to analyze the New York Times, Washington Post, the LA Times, because they're all in chaos there, economic chaos. But the 5 network news presentations, I'm including MSNBC because it's now a part of NBC, their strategy is every day pick 1 or 2 things and frighten the American people. Every day. And that's what they're doing.
And that is a coordinated strategy. By coordinated, I mean it comes from the mindset that President Trump is evil. See, I say Vlad Putin is evil. Well, I know he's evil. There's no debate. They believe that Trump is evil. They, the media, chieftains, the people who run the operations. So the strategy is every day we're going to scare grandma. And I get the letters. I see how frightened people are. And that will mount and mount and mount and mount, and it will then diminish Trump's power. That is a strategy that's in play right now. There is a growing real estate crime out there. The FBI calls it house stealing. Criminals forge your signature on one document, file it with a fake notary stamp. Just like that, your title's gone. Then criminals can take out loans or sell without you knowing. So, when is the last time you checked your home's title? Probably never. And the scammers know it. That's why I trust Home Title Lock's $1 million triple lock protection. You get 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud does occur, they'll spend up to $1 million to restore your title at no added cost. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code BILL250 now for a free title history report and access to your title expert. $250 value when you sign up. HomeTitleLock.com, code BILL250. Okay, we got a brand new YouTube deal. It's youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. I analyze some celebrities who have fled the country I think you'll enjoy it. We want to get 1 million subscribers by Easter. We're close, so help us out there. On the mail front, Patrick Lyons, Perrysburg, Ohio. I don't understand why the people who allowed this crazy spending to happen are not being held accountable. The Biden administration White House allowed the money to be spent irresponsibly, yet no one is being held accountable. Well, yeah, they voted the Democrats out. And that's how it's done. That's holding to account, Patrick. I mean, there's no criminal activity. These are politicians. James, concierge member. James gets a direct line to me. If you want to check out concierge membership, go to BillO'Reilly.com. It will enhance your life. It's a good deal. Bill, you nailed it in your interview with Hal Brands when you said we're in a deep age of narcissism and apathy. President Trump is trying to right some wrongs. There will be short-term bumps in the road. If people can't see further down the road, then we're really lost. It's never been that way. People always react to the moment, ever. It would never been, oh, yeah, well, we know we have to suffer now for greater good. Never happened. Not in this country. Matthew Barnett, Las Vegas. Do you think Trump anticipated this much pushback from the tariffs? I don't know. I don't know whether he did or not. It's the stock market that's really got everybody that. I don't think he anticipated that. Paul Clark, Klamath Falls, Oregon. Why do you avoid mentioning Xi Jinping? China's dangerous to the world. Okay, well, I guess you missed the Mike Pompeo interview, didn't you? You know, I know, Paul, you can't watch every episode, but assume that we are on top of every major story. The Pompeo interview, she's all over it. Douglas Shuffling, Richland, Washington. I know very little about the procedures regarding AutoPen. How does the signature via AutoPen differ from a forgery? Because it has to be okayed. Government has to put the document in the AutoPen. It's not a forgery. And it started with Harry Truman. The presidents are overwhelmed with kind of, I can't sign all day, so that artificial pen is used. Nothing wrong with it unless you're doing it for high legislation like executive orders. Then there's something wrong with it. Susan, would it be due process in front of a Soros immigration judge? Then he's back on our streets. You're talking about the Columbia Palestinian sympathizer. You can't go Soros judge because then the whole legal system collapses. There are plenty of bad judges. But you can't say, no, we're not going to do due process because they're bad judges. Then we have no system. Andrea Mizell, Dix Hills, New York on Long Island. Thanks for the info about Germany annexing Austria. My relatives were all killed in World War II. They did not flee Austria when they could have. My dad was fighting against them. This is difficult for us as my father fought his uncles. Wow. And that was a bad thing. David Spite, Roanoke, Virginia, just finished Confronting the Presidents. Great book. How did a small island of Pacific get so powerful? Well, Killing the Rising Sun is the book for you. And interestingly enough, we sold out of the leather-bound killing patents. They're gone. I told you that would happen. Now we have leather-bound Killing the Rising Sun. And this is a fabulous Father's Day gift. This will sell out as patented. It will. You want to know how Japan rose and became one of the most powerful nations ever. That's the book for you. But the leather-bound edition is really classy, really nice. So you can check it out. Then we have Not Woke Gear. This is streaming all over the country. We hope you get involved with that. A lot of fun. Word of the day, do not be sardonic, SARDONIC. And you want to reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Name in town if you wish to opine. All right. Back with a final thought about where I'll be on St. Patrick's Day. You wouldn't wait for your car to break down to get an oil change, right? Your health should be no different. Don't wait until you get sick to get medications you might need. All Family Pharmacy makes healthcare simple, the way it should be. Whether you need ivermectin, antibiotics, maintenance meds, or other essential prescriptions, they've got you covered. Just order online and they will work with doctors who handle the prescriptions for you. They even ship your medication straight to your door. No waiting rooms, no hassle. Be ready before you need it. Stock up now. Take control of your health. Because when it comes to protecting your family, preparation is everything. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 for 10% off your order. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. Bill O'Reilly here, emphasizing the importance of a safer alternative in threatening situations. Before using lethal force, consider the Burner less lethal pistol launcher, a device designed to incapacitate an attacker with tear gas and kinetic ammunition for up to 40 minutes. It minimizes legal risks and permanent harm. We hear from a Burner user, Adam, who faced a road rage driver. Armed with his Burner launcher, Adam de-escalated the threat by aiming the laser at the aggressor. That allowed him to wait safely for police intervention. That night, Burner not only prevented a potential tragedy, but also saved potential lives, all without physical harm. Burner, legal across all 50 states with no background checks required, has sold more than 500,000 units. Please go to Burner.com/Bill, save 10%, and learn so many Americans why they choose Burner. That's Burner.com/Bill to save 10%. So here's the final thought of the day. I will not be here Monday, St. Patrick's Day. Usually I spend it in New York because New York is the big Irish place, right? Parade and all of that. But I got to go down to D.C. I have meetings, important high-level meetings down there. I've been summoned. Can't tell you why now, and I'll be able to report on it. But people value my opinion, people in high places, and they sometimes ask me what my take is, and because I love my country, I do it. I do it for both Republicans and Democrats. They ask, I tell them. And as you know, I don't butter anybody up, as I told Cuomo. I give it them straight. But I back it up. I say, look, boom, 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 boom. So I got to go down there on Monday, and I don't mind going to Washington. I hate to miss the show, but it's important for the country. And someday I'll be able to lay it all out for you, and but I gotta. Some of these things are very, very sensitive. But I have to tell you, in the last 6 months, I think we've done a lot of good here on this program. We mentioned yesterday that President Trump put us on Truth Social, not endorsing the tariffs, because I wouldn't do that, because I don't know, but explaining them. And it caught us by surprise, and I'm glad Mr. Trump did that. So he thought my explanation of how the tariffs work was good enough to be under his name on Truth Social. And I take that as a compliment, but if Chuck Schumer did it, I'd say the same thing. But he wouldn't do it, would he? I'm going to, just for fun, put in a call to Senator Schumer's office for an interview. Not going to come on. By the way, the Republican Congressman Massey, he turned us down. I knew he would. We're going to do a little thing on him next week, because he's the one that's really shooting down everything that Donald Trump wants to do. So we're going to tell you why, but he won't come on. Congressman, you had to buck up. Come on. You can handle me. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you on Tuesday, new column on Sunday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.